Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my first impressions look on the Jordan Luka 3. So yeah, I mean, this is of course Luka Doncic's signature shoe with Jordan brand, and it's his third one. And of course, he's had a pretty, I mean, he's only had 3 shoes, but the one was really nice. I really like the shoe. I mean, the cushion was really bad though, or just very stiff, you know. And then the two was definitely not my favorite. I really didn't like playing in the shoe because it was just so stiff, including the cushion. But the 3 right now, I'm gonna tell you guys, it feels really nice for the cushion, or not really nice, but just better than the 1 and the 2, which is of course an upgrade in my personal opinion. It retails for 130 bucks, and I did get it on Finish Line. So Finish Line released these early for some reason. It's not even available on Nike.com. It doesn't even say it's coming soon or anything. But Finish Line released it, and there are some sizes in this colorway available still on Finish Line. So if you guys do want to cop it, try to leave the free link in the description box. But they did keep it the same exact retail price. You know, the Luka 2 was 130 bucks. This is 130 bucks. I believe the Luka 1 was 110 bucks though, was it not? 110, probably 120. So they definitely did increase the price, which kind of sucks. But yeah, if you do choose to get the Luka 3 or the Luka 2 or the Luka 1, the 2 and the 1 are on sale. It does help me out if you buy the shoes from the link in the description box. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. But let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. And the traction is pretty interesting, right? So it's inspired by a race tire apparently. So because Luka likes cars. But yeah, it's like a herringbone traction pattern, but we have both translucent and solid rubber on this entire outsole. And it's a pretty cool design. We have the Jumpman logo where the ball of your foot is, and also we have a little bit of the Cushlon 3.0 foam exposed, and it's this orange color as well. And I believe it said it was around like 20% of the overall weight of the shoe is from recycled material, and you can see that here in this green color of the outsole, which is pretty cool, right? And also if you look at the insole, it looks like that's recycled as well. But how does the traction feel? It does not feel that good. Okay, so when I first got it, I was pretty impressed. You know, I was walking around the apartment, it had a nice bite, and which I liked, of course. The Luka 1 had an amazing bite. The Luka 2 had a really nice bite on a clean court, but picked up a lot of dust. But the Luka 3, so when I first got it, it was biting pretty well, but then I was just like walking around a little bit around my apartment. And of course, it's summer, it's hot, it's dry, my dogs shed, there's a lot of dog hair, and then it started to pick up dust. It's just sliding around all over the dang place, and just feels like it's gonna pick up a good amount of dust. Of course, you know, it's just my wood floors, and my wood floors have a different finish than the actual basketball court, so you take that with a grain of salt, of course, but it's just my first impressions. And you know, it seems like it had a good bite when I first got it, which of course is a good thing. So it'll probably have a good bite on a clean court, but we'll have to see on a dusty setting, which is weird because the grooves are very spaced apart, so it doesn't seem like it'll trap any kind of dust or debris. So that's pretty interesting. But hopefully once I actually play on a basketball court and break it and stuff like that, it has good performance on dust compared to the Luka 2. You know what I mean? As far as the durability goes, the durability seems like it'll be very good. The rubber is really hard, and there's a good amount of grooves, you know, especially here in the highway area where the ball of your foot is. Where the translucent part is, it's a little bit more spaced apart, but that's not really a highway area. So overall durability on the outdoor court seems like it'll be very good. So there is a traction there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, it actually feels pretty dang smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have this foam, and it's not Cushlon. I believe the Cushlon is actually this orange part, right? And then this is probably just a carrier. I may be wrong, but it just says it's full length Cushlon 3.0 foam, but it actually is still pretty soft here in the heel. We got a nice rounded shape as well, so that feels really nice in the heel. And then coming here into the forefoot, we also have a pretty nice rocker shape, right? So just from the shape, the heel to toe transition is pretty dang smooth. But also here in the forefoot, we have a good amount of forefoot flex, which feels nice, right? Compared to the Luka 2, the Luka 2 was just so much stiffer, and I'm putting so much more force into the Luka 2. The Luka 1 also is a little bit stiffer, but definitely not as stiff as the Luka 2, right? But the 3 is actually the softest. It's the easiest to bend, but yeah, actually also has a nice little rebound back. So overall heel to toe transition does feel pretty dang smooth. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So like I mentioned before, it's using full length Cushlon 3.0 foam, right? It actually says Cushlon right here on the orange part, right? So here on the medial side, you can see the foam and it's this orange color and it changes color here in the heel. Right, so I'm guessing this is probably just a carry because when I feel it with my finger, it's actually a little bit stiffer than the orange part. The orange part is actually really soft, right? So as far as the overall heel compression, actually has the most amount of compression in his entire shoe line, which is just 2 other shoes, right? So Luka 2 was pretty dang stiff. The Luka 1, pretty dang stiff. The 3 actually is pretty soft, which I do like. Also, court feel is okay. I would say it's around average. It's not the best for court feel, but it's not terrible either. It's just average, right? And then as far as the insole goes, like I said, it is using a recycled material and it's not that nice, honestly. You know, it's not super foamy or anything. It's also very much glued down, and then underneath the insole we have a very glued down and very stiff strobo board. I don't know why Jordan Brand keeps doing this. You know what I mean? They did the same thing in the Luka 2. It's very stiff strobo board. It's pretty much the same exact kind. And Luka 1, I believe they did the exact same thing, right? So it's just, I wish they would use like a soft mesh strobo board or just make the strobo board a little bit softer. Because like, I mean, when you press it with your fingers, it's just super stiff. You know what I mean? And Cushlon 3.0, when you feel it on the outside, it's really soft. You know what I mean? So like, just make it a little bit softer because they stiffen up the cushion a lot, you know? I mean, like, it is soft, like I said, here in the 3, you know, but here in the 2, they stiffened it up a lot on the outside from the actual midsole and also for the strobo board for step and comfort, which doesn't make sense. They're using a nice Cushlon 3.0 foam, and they're just making it so that it's not nice, you know what I mean? So yeah, step and comfort isn't nice so far, and also underfoot cushioning is not nice, you know? So hopefully that breaks in, you know, hopefully, you know, once I'm playing it and the heat of my foot kind of breaks in the glue or something, and the strobo board gets a little bit softer, hopefully, but we'll have to see on that. But I do like how the overall kind of like carrier is a little bit softer here in the Luka 3 versus the 1 and 2, right? So that is a little bit of an improvement, but still the cushioning setup doesn't feel amazing, especially compared to a lot of the other shoes that you can get right now, you know what I mean? So there's that. Moving on to the upper. So the upper is actually pretty cool, right? And I feel like, in my personal opinion, it's the best so far. So we have an engineered textile upper, right? So and also these wavy striations are inspired by high speed. So I guess maybe like aerodynamics or something. But yeah, it does definitely feel like it's like heat pressed or something. And it also does feel pretty like sturdy, you know what I mean? But also it's actually really soft, which is weird, you know what I mean? It feels sturdy and supportive, but also really soft at the same time. It doesn't feel like a super minimal and thin material, but it just conforms to your foot really well, and it feels pretty dang cozy, especially here in the toe box. There's no pinching or anything like that, which I do like, especially comparing to the Luka 2. The Luka 2 was just so stiff for the upper and also for the overall shoe as well, which I really didn't like. But the 3 definitely feels a lot softer for the material and also for the overall shoe as well, right? But also they do have an ISO plate here in the midfoot, which we'll get into. But yeah, this feels really nice. I really like the textile upper. There are some ventilation holes here in the toe box, I guess, for ventilation. But that's not gonna be good for ventilation, you know? And then coming here into the midfoot area, it stays pretty much the exact same, but of course we do have this ISO plate, right? So it's just this plastic piece that also probably turns into a midfoot shin plate, but of course that'll be good for torsional support and lateral containment with this ISO plate. And then for the tongue, I really like the tongue. It's very well padded, so it feels really nice and cozy on top of your foot. It's also an independent tongue, which is weird. Most modern shoes have like a half booty construction tongue, but this one it's an independent tongue, you know? But it'll probably stay in place because there is like an extra eyelet where the middle of the tongue is, right? So that'll probably stay in place, right? And then here in the ankle area, we actually, on the sides, it's not super well padded, but the foam is actually really nice. Yeah, it has a little bit of a memory foam type feel. So when you press it, it's actually really soft. It doesn't feel super cheap or anything. And then here in the back of the heel, however, there's a good amount of foam, which does feel nice, but it does push your foot forward a little bit, which we'll get into for the fit. But yeah, I do like how this textile material feels. The quality also feels nice. Like I said, it's not the most minimal material, but it feels really great on foot, supportive and cozy. And also here on the medial side, we got Luka's number 77, and then on the tongue we have his logo, and then on the left pair we have the Jumpman logo, right? And now moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size, and it actually fits me really well, right? So I would suggest most people go up half a size because there's just so much foam here in the back of the shoe that's probably pushing your foot forward a little bit, or it feels like it's pushing my foot forward a little bit. And then so my toes go pretty close to the edge of the shoe for length, right? So if you want a really snug fit, then probably go true to size, but just be careful with that. We'll have to see on how it breaks in. Maybe the foam will bottom out a little bit here in the back of the shoe. I don't know, we'll have to see on that. But right now, for my first impressions, I would suggest going up half a size, right, for most people. Also here in the toe box, it's like a normal fit. It's kind of snug, and then width wise, I would say it's a normal fit as well. So overall, it's a pretty nice fit for me. I do like the overall fit. And now moving on to the support and lockdown, it feels like it'll be very good, right? So with this engineered textile, like I said, it feels really supportive. You know, it doesn't stretch at all. It's like heat press, you know, but it's not. It doesn't feel like glued down or anything. It doesn't feel like a flimsy or stiff, you know. But yeah, here in the forefoot, we have the rubber coming up a little bit, like at the tip of the toe. And then this overall material does feel very supportive, but also we do have this isoplate here in the midfoot. And then there seems to be an internal TPU heel counter as well. So lateral containment is probably gonna be good. And also lateral stability, look at that. We have a very wide base and very sharp outrigger as well, right? You can see how much it protrudes out here in the forefoot. And also heel lockdown seems really good. If you look at it closely, it really cups in very nicely, especially with the foam. So the heel lockdown, it just really feels like it's locking down my heel, which feels great. So yeah, support and lockdown feels like it'll be very good. And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, I feel like this shoe will be kind of average, I feel like. Yeah, 12.4 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 12.45 ounces. So the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So that's average weight. Let's check the Luka 1s. 12.55 ounces. And then let's check the Luka 2s. 12.85 ounces. So yeah, all of the shoes have been around average weight. And the Luka 3 it doesn't feel minimal, but it feels really cozy, sturdy, and comfortable, which of course is a good thing. But will it be responsive? We'll have to see on that. Will I feel quick when I play in it? Because of course the traction is a little iffy right now. And now moving on to the aesthetics, I like it, but I don't like this colorway. This colorway is kind of just, I don't know, there's just too many colors. It's too colorful for me personally, but I do like the overall silhouette. I like the waves on the upper. That looks great. The isoplate is a little you know what I mean? But I definitely feel like it looks the best out of the Luka 1. And actually, I think the Luka 1 looks the best in my personal opinion. And then the 3, and then the 2, right? So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, everything about this shoe feels really nice. It definitely does feel like an upgrade. I love this engineered textile material. The Cushlon 3.0 foam is feeling pretty good so far, or definitely feels like an upgrade from the Luka 1 and 2, but doesn't feel amazing, you know what I mean? But of course, the X factor is the traction. How is the traction going to perform? We'll have to see on that. But right now, I'm liking how the shoe feels so far. Just please, Jordan brand, give us a softer stroll board, and I love the cushioning setup. I mean, with Cushlon 3.0 as well. Like, why not? You know what I mean? But anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop any of these shoes, I try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.